you didn't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. And if you didn't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. And if you didn't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. And just remember Grandma Moses. She was a painter, and she didn't start painting until, I think, in her 80s. And one of the most prolific painters.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Never
So have
too
fun. That's what it's all about.
Happy Tuesday, OTG, and welcome back to another video by me, Letitia Marie. If you are new here, OTG just stands for On Time Gang, and that's because this channel is all about finding yourself, growing and elevating and evolving as the people that we are today. Now, in saying that, by today's title, you can see that today's video is going to be women giving advice to other women, especially if you are in your 20s specifically.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
How does it feel to be 38?
I'm single, not married, I don't have any kids.
What's the reason you're single?
I'm pretty picky and I don't want to settle in life. Dated a lot of great people, but the right person just hasn't come along for me yet.
What is something you thought was really important when you were younger, but as you got older, you realized it wasn't that important?
I feel like a person's always wanting the best career, buy a house. Then you get to a point in life where you realize a lot of those things really aren't that important, and I think it's just the simple things in life.
What are the simple things that really matter?
I think it's family, relationships, being able to spend that quality time with people rather than sitting in an office building. I think it's worth not having as much, living on less and enjoying life more.
So if you could go back in time and have a conversation with your younger self, what would you tell her?
I would say that life is just how it's supposed to be, and every twist and turn is the path that God has had you on, and so don't look back and regret, and don't be sad about the things that didn't happen, because there's a lot of life to look forward to.
Now, last night I did upload a video a little bit late, unfortunately. For some reason, it took 5 hours to upload, so if you'd like to watch that one is about co-parenting, being stepmothers, single dads, blended families, that whole spiel there, and people giving advice, and just going through little stories and stuff like that. So that was yesterday's video. But again, today's video is going to be women giving other women advice. Now, these are going to be advice to your younger self to help yourself, spiritually, financially, emotionally, mentally. This video is going to be a whole bunch of things like that from women that are a little bit older. I mean, some people are our age group as well, and things that they could have done over, or again, just giving advice to yourself. I'm sure we've all been there, where sometimes we wish that we could have told ourselves something different or made a different choice at a certain age. And now that some of us are older, it's great to give young women and even teen girls some more advice. On my channel, the main audience is women between the ages of 25 and 40. There are men, which is about 35%. I won't be playing any men giving women advice, because I feel like it's a little bit different when women are giving each other advice, especially for those of us that do not have our mother. I mentioned before, my mom passed away when I was 12. And sometimes it feels good to have another mother figure or another positive role model in front of you to give you some good, wholesome advice. I feel like right now we're living in a very superficial world where a lot of the things stem from like TikTok, and it might make you feel insecure if you're not living up to a certain standard, or you're gonna look around and you're gonna see your friends, they're getting married, they're buying their houses, they're finishing school now, they pushed through and got their degrees in certain areas. Some of them are retaking school again, and you're feeling very stuck and lost. Like, what am I doing with myself? It's making you feel very discouraged. So I feel like we're living in a world where it's very self-centered and very selfish. So it's beautiful to see women trying to empower one another and encourage each other in this day and age. So I'm going to play a series of videos for you guys.
Things I would go back and tell my younger self. Not everybody's your friend. I spent so much time trying to be friends with people that honestly didn't really care about me. You're the one who always has to ask to hang out. If the energy is off when you're around them, just get out of there. Get out of there quickly. Fall in love with spending time by yourself. Spending time by yourself is the vibe. Like, I know it might feel lonely at first, but getting to know yourself on that level, being super confident in the things that you enjoy doing, all of that stuff is a game changer. That is literally fake, girl. People are spending their last dime, their rent money, on the trips, on the bag. None of it is real. Don't let yourself feel behind because you don't know what they're doing in order to get that lifestyle. Don't drink. Don't do it. Our society is going to tell you you're boring, you can't have fun if you're not drinking. Girl, that is not the truth. You never have a drink, but like getting blackout drunk and drinking every weekend is not the vibe. You cannot convince me that that's the vibe. Your body is going to change a million trillion times, and don't stress about it. Don't stress about it. You're gonna get smaller, you're gonna get bigger, everything is gonna change, and that's okay. Don't tell your friends all your business, not your relationship business, your family business. Go tell your therapist, go talk to God about it. Don't spill your business to everybody. Anytime you feel like the vibes are off, the vibes are off. Don't second guess yourself. If you feel like the vibes are off, the vibes are off. He's so delusional that it literally makes people sick. Like, just do it. The worst thing that could happen is that you don't make it to where you were going, but you made it so much closer than you would have before. Lastly, just be yourself, girl. If somebody hates you, then they hate you, and that's that on that. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
Dear younger me,
It's okay to be where you are now. It's okay to look different to the girls you see online. It's okay to have days or weeks when you don't feel your best. There's more to life than looking or being perfect. There's so much to look forward to, and there's so much time to enjoy it. Love me now.
Here's advice that I wish I had a big sister tell me, but I'm an only child. RIP. But if I would have known this stuff, I feel like it would have just made my life a million times easier and I would have been so much happier. Number one is stop being the yes man. Stop saying yes to everything. You do not need to attend every event. You think people won't like you if you're not always there and always saying yes, but it's actually the opposite. People will like you more if you say no and you don't show up to everything, because you're sending the message that you have more interesting things going on than this event. And it makes your life seem exclusive and interesting. People cannot miss you if you're always there. Two, being a bad bitch or just being a bitch is not a personality trait, and it comes off extremely insecure. Three, neither is alcohol. Alcohol and drinking is not a personality trait. Four is no one cares, work harder. This sounds kind of harsh, but all throughout high school, I feel like everyone said, well, you have to balance your sport and your extracurriculars and school and a social life, and it's just impossible. No, it's not. I promise you, you can do so much more than you think you can. 5, you can change anything about yourself anytime you want. You are not obligated to have the same interests, the same style, the same aesthetic. You can change anything about yourself whenever you want, and if your friends are judgmental and mean about it, they're probably not good friends. 6 is stop vaping. 7, men are extremely simple. They're not complicated, they're not hard to read. You're making them complicated and you're trying to find things to read into that aren't there. The more you pull away from a man, the more he will chase you. So just be as uninterested as possible. If your friends aren't obviously supporting you and lifting you up and encouraging you, and you feel like you need to kind of dull your light to be around them, that means they're bringing you down and you need to find new friends. My last tip is it's not that deep. If you're super emotional like me, this is really hard, but just remind yourself that sometimes emotions are meant to come up and you're supposed to experience them and let them pass through you, and that's it. You don't need to overanalyze everything that you feel. Just shut up and go get a milkshake and you'll be fine.
Young, beautiful girl, this is what I want you to do in your 20s. This is what I want you to do in your 20s. In your 20s, I want you to prioritize yourself. I want you to have friends that are outside of your profession. Have friends that work at a bank. Have friends that are pursuing law degrees. Have friends that work in healthcare. Keep your circle different. I want you to never loan a man money. I don't want you to give him money. If he's not your husband, I don't want you giving him $1. Every money, every penny that you earn, you keep for yourself. You give it towards your family. I don't want you giving it to a man. I want you to notice those red flags in your partner or in a potential partner, and I want you to validate them. I don't want you to go through them. I don't want you to go through them twice. Validate them. Be okay with moving on. Be okay with being lonely.
For myself personally, I am 28, hence the title Never Late 28, and that's because this is the stage in my life where I realized, you know what, it's never too late to start over again. I was engaged and I decided I'm not going to get married. I'm no longer at my old job anymore. They said I can go and that's cool, no problem. I'm not mad, because if I was still there, I would not be on YouTube right now. I ended up getting rid of my car. So there's a lot of things that I'm starting over in my life as well. And that's what birthed this channel. And today's video is very personable to me because that's where I'm personally at. And if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would have to look at her and tell her, you know what, it is going to be okay. I've dealt with things like depression and suicide and stuff like that, and I've pushed through that. It was a very tough process. I've been dealing with that from as a teenager. And honestly, I tell people all the time, you can never pay me to go back between the ages of 14 and 19. I hated that stage of my life, but to be very honest, one of the best things that ever came out of that era of my life was my daughter, because I got pregnant at 19 years old. And from my daughter, I have to tell her all the time how much I love her, how much I appreciate her, how much she means to me. I don't even think my daughter realizes she saved me from a lot of self-destruction. I was engaging in so much activity that if it was up to me, I would not be here till today. And I'm not even just talking about things about my suicide and my depression and things like that. Other self-destructive behavior and dealing with men that could care care less about me. I went on a date with a guy, I almost ended up in a freaking shootout. He has to put his little blick blick in my purse. Like, a whole bunch of nonsense has happened. I remember I went out with another guy and we were driving past police cars and he had drugs. And he's like, okay, just put it in your bra for me and whatever. Like an idiot, I did it. Now imagine if we got pulled over, who would be getting in trouble? Me or him? And you don't want to tell nobody because you don't look like a snitch. So I've engaged in so many self-destructive things that could have torn my life apart. And I've realized that if I could go back and look at my younger self, I have to tell her, listen to me, you are beautiful and you are worth it. There's someone that's going to love you out there for you. And there's a little person that's going to come along in your life that's going to need you to be the best that you can possibly be. But not only for her, but for yourself. You got to love yourself so she can see what it looks like when a woman loves themselves, nurtures themselves. Don't let her go outside and look at other women as a role model. Let her look at you like you're the right role model. We see a lot of promiscuity in the media and stuff like that as well. If I could go back and change a lot of things, I would have shown my daughter, listen, this is how you take care of yourself and present yourself as a woman. And to myself, being a younger girl, I'd go back and tell myself, don't feel pressured by any man to give into anything that you don't feel comfortable with. If you want to keep yourself for when you're married, if you want to keep yourself for the right person, do that. Stay pure as long as you can. Don't just give yourself to people that are undeserving and they throw it back in your face later on and things like that. Don't ever do that. Don't sell yourself short for who you are. Another thing I would tell myself is to do YouTube like I planned to a long time ago. I wanted to do it when I was on my baby father. We wanted to do a family channel together. So I would have been about 21 at this time. I would have done it from then and went on my journey from then. The only issue with that, obviously, is we never know who we'd be today without our mistakes in our journey. And sometimes you got to be grateful for the times that you did get fired. You have to be grateful for the times that that breakup did happen. You have to be grateful for the times that maybe you got kicked out. I mentioned before, I got kicked out at 18 years old. Sometimes you got to be grateful for the bad stuff because that's what molded you and made you into the woman that you are now. And I know sometimes people are like, how can you praise pain? Because sometimes out of pain comes wisdom and strength and knowledge. If you didn't go through that type of stuff, you wouldn't be who you are now. And because I went through that stuff, I can give somebody else advice. Obviously, I'm no longer 24. I'm 28. I will never see 24 again. But for another 24-year-old out there that is struggling and maybe went through what I went through, I want her to know and understand, listen, honey, you can push through this and you can make it. Whatever it is that you are dealing with, a lot of us have gone through the same thing. A lot of them are going to tell you their stories. A lot of women are going to give you some encouragement. A lot of people are going to tell you, listen, don't run after that man so young because then you're going to turn 29, you're going to evolve and change. I mentioned before, as human beings, we're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to grow. We do change. We have different likes and different wants and different needs. Our passions are going to change. If you're going to have a spouse at a young age, make sure they understand that, listen, you're going to change with me.
Last year I turned 40, and these are things that I would not do again in my 20s and 30s. I would not get married. I met my husband when I was 24, and we got married when I was 29. At the time, I thought that this was like the ideal situation. I met the perfect age to get married. But what I realized was in the 4 years that we were married, I grew so much as a person. I graduated from business school, started my own business. I just became such a different person that I didn't feel like he was the best fit for me anymore. And I don't think I could have realized that at 29 when I said yes. If I could do it again, I would have allowed myself to have so much more growth in my life before I made a decision on a life partner. And it's really nothing against that partner specifically, but it was more about the direction that I wanted my life to take. My interests by 35 were unrecognizable to my younger self. And I don't think it would have been fair for me to take him on this journey if I didn't think that he was the right partner for the version of me that was to come.
Women should be financially independent. It doesn't matter who your father is, doesn't matter who your husband is going to be, it doesn't matter who your brother is, it doesn't matter who the man in your life is. You need to be responsible for your finances and be financially independent.
We're going to grow together. If your spouse doesn't look at you and say, listen, you changed. You had those kids, you started acting different and all that type of stuff. You don't want to be with a person that doesn't know how to love you when you're evolving and growing, because a lot of times as women, we sacrifice what we want, our mental health and our needs, to please everybody else. But what about us? So to the young women that are going to be watching these videos today, I hope you do feel encouraged by watching all this stuff, even the financial aspect of things. A lot of times people say, save, save, save. How are you going to save what you don't have? But listen to me, you don't need that wig. I know you want to get your nails done, but you don't need to get your nails done. My dad always taught me, if you get $100, try to save 25 and use the other 75 if you can. And a lot of the time, saving is not just leaving money in a bank account. That doesn't really help. Try to find different investments and different avenues. And a lot of you guys are going to look at it and say, well, how do I invest my money? Child, I don't know either. I'm trying to figure out how to invest in myself. I tried to buy crypto. I don't understand crypto none at all. So if you guys know, leave a comment down below, because I'm trying to understand Shiba Inu and I don't have money for Bitcoin, but the next one I think is Shiba or PayPay, something so. Anywho, if you know, you leave a comment down below to help all of us together. Okay. in saying that, you know, we are living in a very scary time. And a lot of people are worried about Trump's presidency and things like that, and how it's going to affect us as women, and pro-choice and pro-life, and all these other crazy things going on. But I feel like, moreover, a lot of us are suffering mentally right now because we're feeling very stuck. So above the presidency, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's great for him, and that's going to bring a lot of and that's going to bring a little bit more issues for us. But as of right now, presently in my life, I feel broken. As of right now, presently in my life, I feel stuck. I feel like I'm not amounting to anything. I feel like, I don't know, I need some help. So I have all these beautiful videos that are going to play for you all.
You being the good girl is not getting you where you think it's getting you. Let me explain. You being the understanding girlfriend, the cool girlfriend, the laid back girl who doesn't ask for much, and I just love and I forgive and I give grace and I just have a heart of gold, and I don't know, like I was just made to pour into people, and I was just made to like show people what real love is. That's not getting you anywhere but overlooked, overworked, and underpaid, underappreciated, undervalued. Being passive gets you nowhere but pass by. I'm just being honest. In my own experience, giving and 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 giving just got me used up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to lie. If you're not charging, they're not gonna pay. You just give because you just want to be the good girl. It's not going to make the world pay you what you're worth, see your worth, appreciate you, give you your flowers while you're here and can smell them. It's not going to make that man commit, give you a ring, honor you, respect you. Trying to love them into doing it is only going to get you overworked and underpaid. It's going to get you the short end of the stick and breadcrumbs.
If I could go back in time, here's 4 things I would tell myself as a young wife. As your husband's wife, you have the ability to be the greatest influence in his life. Don't diminish your influence because of the inability to control your tongue. The enemy knows that you're powerful. That's why he's hoping you'll fall for his scheme. So use discernment regarding what you do and don't say. Because a wise woman builds her home while a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Hey guys, Rashia Nicole here. So this message is for all of my young ladies between the ages of 18 and roughly 25-ish, okay? So I have a 22-year-old daughter, and she and I went shopping. We brought her friend along. Her friend asked me, Mrs. Parker, can you please give me some advice? Like, what type of advice would you give a 22-year-old about life? I said, sit on down, honey. I got it for you. So some of the things that I shared with her, this ended up being like a 2-hour conversation throughout our trip. However, I'm going to share some of the pointers with you as a professional business owner, woman, and a person who is in school for clinical mental health counseling. I'm going to give you some advice that could probably help you out. So here we go. Number 1. The biggest or one of the most important pieces of advice I can give you is obtain some type of education. Now, it doesn't have to be formal education. If you don't want to do a 4-year college, then that's not your thing. Don't worry about it. But what I do want you to do is go get some type of skills training. So if you don't go to a 4-year university, or even if you don't decide to go to a community college, go and get some type of formal training. There are so many ways to be educated out here and to obtain education, certifications, certificates on different skills. There's so many ways to get it out here, but definitely get it. The time is now. And when I tell you the technical field is it. So if you are even remotely interested in that, please go get you some type of education or skill. People can do what they want, but one thing they can't take from you is your knowledge, okay? When you know different, you move different, and you do it because you can. So education definitely puts you a step above the rest. Don't listen to nobody who tell you it doesn't. The next piece of advice I can give you, don't waste your time with unfruitful things, people, or habits. So unfruitful things, people, or habits. If you know that you are messing around, or you done seen the red flags of these things or people or habits that you know is not going to progress you, don't even waste your time with it. Time is not on our side. If you ask somebody my age right now, if they could go back and tell their younger 22-year-old self some advice, I can guarantee you it's going to be a thing, it's going to be a person, or it's going to be a habit that they're going to want to break, okay? So don't even waste your time with those things. When you see the red flags, run. Just go ahead, be done with it. I could do a whole dissertation on that, but we'll keep going. The third piece of advice that I can give you, make smart financial decisions. Guys, Poverty runs deep, all right? And not only runs deep in our pockets, but it runs deep in our minds. So poverty has the ability to impact generations and generations and generations. So what you want to do is break the chains of poverty now. Start making smart financial decisions right now. And what that means is, just because everybody got a Gucci bag or a Louis bag, don't sit up here and try to blow your refund checks on how to go get you one. Don't sit up here and jump on the next scam or the scheme because such and such got away with it. Don't do that. Make smart financial decisions now. Take care of your credit now. Just because you're 18 does not mean you need to have bad credit. It doesn't. Start to establish that now. If you need help or if you want to learn how to grow and establish your credit, I do a lot of mentoring. I've been mentoring for well over 10 years now. So I know how to at least help usher you into the financial space that'll give you that base education on what it is to have a bank account, a credit card, a debit account, how to use those things and maintain those things. Hit me up if you need the help. Just drop it in the inbox or the comment section. The next piece of advice that I have for you is find a mentor. I just told you guys, I have a mentoring organization for young ladies between the ages of 12 to 17. It's called Girls Destined for Greater Mentoring Group. We have a nonprofit organization called the Happy Confident Future Foundation. Listen, if you don't join me, find yourself a mentor. And this mentor needs to be somebody that you can look up to. If they're doing good for themselves in life and they're doing legal stuff, if they are in a type of career that you want to be in, connect yourself to them, network with them, let them know like, hey, I'm young and I aspire to be where you are. I would love to be your mentee if you're willing to take on a mentor. Get to know these people. Having a mentor can definitely change your life because they can show you the ropes and they can help you avoid some of the mistakes that they may have made on their climb up. So get a mentor. Again, if you need a mentor, talk to me. All right. Last but certainly not least, I need you to heal. All right. And I know you're young, but I need you to heal. And not only do I need you to heal spiritually, but I need you to heal physically. All right. Healing is about it's a two-way path. So you can heal internally and externally. The healing part on the inside is the trauma, the things that you've gone through, the things that bother you that you don't talk to nobody about, the things that keep you up at night and you thinking about those things that make your heart ache when you think about it. Let's get you in therapy. Let's get you a counselor. Let's start to heal and go through that. If you are a spiritual person, let's learn how to pray, connect to God, talk to God. You got to heal that inner part. The next part, I need you to heal physically. Now, when you're young, you can eat all the hot Cheetos and the flaming hots and the drinking and all of that, and you think it won't catch up with you. Baby, I can guarantee you that it does. So what you put inside your body eventually comes outside of your body, all right? So when you take care of your body, give yourself the water, the nutrients, the things that you need to be physically healthy, you go a lot further. So those are just my quick 5 tips that I have for you. Share this with a young lady if you think she could benefit from them. And if you want me to drop some more, let me know, because baby, once I sat down and thought about it, we had a whole conversation with a whole bunch of stuff that we covered. So if you like these tips and you want some more, let me know. I am more than happy to help.
Young, beautiful girl, this is what I want you to do in your 20s. This is what I want you to do in your 20s. In your 20s, I want you to prioritize yourself. I want you to have friends that are outside of your profession. Have friends that work at a bank. Have friends that are pursuing law degrees. Have friends that work in healthcare. Keep your circle different. I want you to never loan a man money. I don't want you to give him money. If he's not your husband, I don't want you giving him $1. Every money, every penny that you earn, you keep for yourself. You give it towards your family. I don't want you giving it to a man. I want you to notice those red flags in your partner or in a potential partner, and I want you to validate them. I don't want you to go through them. I don't want you to go through them twice. Validate them. Be okay with moving on. Be okay with being lonely.
To help encourage you and help make you feel motivated today. And it's my hope that you feel blessed by the end of this. It is my hope that you're going to have a story to share to somebody else so that they can see, listen, if she did this, I can do this too. And some of these are just affirmations. Some of you guys, it just really starts with going into the mirror every day and tell yourself, listen, I'm worth it. Listen, I'm strong. I am proud. I am worthy. I'm amazing. I can do all things. I'm called to be somebody greater. How my mother used to be, I will not be that way. I know for a lot of us, sometimes the role models we had before us, be it that as our aunts or mothers or teachers and stuff like that, maybe they called us stupid in the classroom. Maybe they degraded us. I have a very good friend. I remember one time her mom looked at her and said, "You're not going to be good for anything other than laying on your back." For some of you guys, those words hold so much weight into your life. But you know what? You can drop it off and leave it at the altar. You got to bring that nowhere with you. Let somebody else take on that burden. Don't take up those words on your head, because that's not who you are. You're a beautiful soul. When God made everything, after he kept saying it was good. So when he made you, he also said that you were good. I have an aunt, and honestly, God bless her. That is also my daughter's godmother. We're not blood related, but I met her through my church. I've known her for so long. When I would have issues at home, it was always her house that I was sent to and stuff like that. And she would always encourage me. I remember one time I was feeling very frustrated, and we were in the car and we were talking one day. And I'm like, I know sometimes I make mistakes and I do bad things. And she immediately cut me off. She's just like, who told you you're a bad person? We make mistakes, but it doesn't make you a bad person. You made a poor choice, but it doesn't mean you're bad, because when God made you, he said you were good. When he made you, he said he knew you. When he made you, he said, listen, I formed you out of love. There's love inside of you. So when he's saying one thing, don't believe what somebody else is telling you. I know sometimes that's easier said than done. I know for some people, it's like, I don't necessarily believe in Christianity, or that might be hard for me to follow. And trust me, I get that. But the only way I can help somebody else what they're going through is if I mention what I'm going through and what going through those things did for me. And it's so important, guys, in terms of your friends, be mindful of who's in your circle. It's important to have friends that are wiser than you, older than you, have more money than you, has the car that you might want, has the house you might want. I'm not talking about coveting what your neighbor wants. You don't need to be envious or jealous of people. I'm not talking about that. But to have positive role models in front of you to say, listen, she's going to encourage me to get there. She's going to be like, listen, come with me and I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm so sick and tired of having friendships where people are like, I'm going to buy this, but you can't have that. Or that's what she bought. How could she afford it? Those friendships are dead. In 2024, throw away friends like that. We don't want none of those people no more. I want the friends that are going to show me, listen, girl, we're going to invest this money and we're going to get this. We're going to get this house together. We're going to rent it out and be an Airbnb, and we're going to decorate it. Listen, next year we're taking 3 trips together. Give me the friends that are pushing and motivating. Give me the friends that say, listen, I just came out of a bad relationship and so did you. So you know what we're going to do today? We're going to get dressed up, look pretty. We're going to go to an orchestra. We're going to go on a picnic together. And you know what? Let's say we don't have money. You know what we're going to do today? If we don't have the money to be going out and doing all that extra stuff, we're going to sit inside. I'm going to make some popcorn. We're going to get some wine, and we're going to sit down and watch an old time movie. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie. I love that movie. I'm still waiting on these beasts to turn to princess. I don't know. That movie lied to me because I don't know what's happening. Anywho, we're going to sit down and watch a movie or something together inside. We can take a jog together. Jogging outside is free. Or let's bake together. Let's get a bunch of stuff together. Let's bake and learn new recipes and learn to cook and stuff like that. My friends, eventually, again, I mentioned this numerous times, we are going to be doing part of a podcast on here. You'll see them very shortly. I think I see them in about 2 weeks or so, because one of them is supposed to have a drinking party. So hopefully we're doing that very, very soon. And I don't know what our topic is going to be as yet, but we're going to talk about it as a group together. So stay tuned for that. But somebody pull out your phone, change your settings, and record a video together. And just talk about your friendship to empower other young girls to know, listen, you don't got to have 10 friends. Having one great friend is better than having 10 that are fake towards you. Having one close friend that will do anything for you is better than having the 10 people that are going to chat behind your back. That's not worth it. I teach my daughter that on a regular basis. I'd rather you have one solid friend, one loyal friend, than having an army of people that can't do nothing for you. In saying that though, if you are able to have 10 amazing friends, I would encourage you to have that as well, because some people you can't trust with certain things. So you might have one friend to go out with. You might have one friend for encouragement. You might have one friend to pray for you. You might have one friend to travel with. You might have one friend, I can bring you on my family. You're my child's godparent. Like whatever the case might be, make sure you have a beautiful dynamic around you to help push and propel you. And if unfortunately you cannot find any friends, you can talk to me. You can DM me. I have Instagram. It's linked on the page somewhere. It might be in the description down below. If not, it's on the main page of my YouTube channel. It's literally _Teish, Teish. That's it. That's my Instagram name. In saying that, you can DM me. We can be virtual friends if you want a virtual friend. I love to encourage people. And the funny thing is, my dad's like, sometimes you take your own advice. And I'd be looking at my dad, I'm like, listen, sometimes I don't even know how to get myself off the floor. But I learned that with giftings, a lot of the times, when you can help other people in certain areas and you can't help yourself there, it's because it's a gift. So this year I've learned that I have the gift of encouragement, because when I cannot encourage my damn self, I have the most to say for my friends. One of my friends called me one day because she was going through so much, guys, okay? And she's like, I need you to pray for me. She doesn't even know, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even tell her. She'll find out, I guess, when she watches this video. When she messaged me, I was crying on my couch. I remember what I was crying for, but I was just feeling very depressed and very overwhelmed with my current situation. Actually, I think that's probably what it was. I was feeling very overwhelmed with my current situation. I'm feeling like, what the hell am I doing? I'm going on YouTube. I don't know what's happening with the videos right now. I'm stressed out about this. I want to move. Like, there's just a lot of things weighing on me. I'm feeling very, very frustrated. But she messaged me and she's like, can you pray for me? So in the midst of me feeling stressed out about myself, I wiped off my face, gave myself maybe 2 to 5 minutes, and I was able to pray for her. I was able to encourage her. And I'm like, God, how can I do that for somebody else? And I can't even do that for me. And then I ended up watching a sermon that same day, and I realized it's because you have the gift of encouragement. He was talking about other giftings as well. When you're able to do things for other people and it's difficult for you to do it for yourself, more times often than none, it's because it's a gifting. Because let's be honest, when we have things that we might necessarily use, it's easy for us to give away. It's the same analogy, right? When you have, let's say you have a jacket, I don't always use my jacket. I don't really need it. I have other ones. I can give this away. A lot of times that's how your gifting works. It's easy for you to give it away because it's a gift. Your gifting is never for you, it's for somebody else.
Important prayer I could ever advise anyone to read every morning is the whole armor of God in Ephesians 6. When I tell you, I've had my best days when I read that in the morning. Instead of grabbing my phone from when I was waking up, instead I was grabbing my Bible, reading Ephesians 6, and putting on the whole armor of God is so valuable and so amazing. You need to do that. Every 24 hours I read that prayer. I've heard that from so many amazing prophets and people saying that that is the most important prayer you could pray over yourself.
And if you knew that your life depended on it, you would find, create, or do whatever you need to do to make that time. I have compassion for women who are experiencing this, but I also don't want to spin it any other way than the fact that you have a choice. You are the only one who can make that choice. And there is nothing better that you can do for your life, for your mental health, for yourself. There's no amount of self-care that can do for you what your prayer life can do for you. And your life and the quality of your life depends on it. And it may not feel good at first. You may feel tired doing it at first. But while you're on the bathroom, pray. While you're driving in your car, pray instead of listening to music. Listen to a sermon. There are so many pockets of time that we have in our day that it really does add up. There are moments of time where you can see the opportunity that this is a time that I get to fill up, and it may be the only time that I have, but I believe that God can do a whole lot with the little that you give him.
The thing that we think is the most important, the thing that we feel like we cannot let go of, God is like, I'm greater than that. And I'm bigger than anything, and I'm greater than anyone. And that is what you learn when you start trusting his timing and not believing what it looks like. And God reminded me in that moment, I am leading and guiding you. I'm greater than anyone involved. I'm bigger than any problem that's involved because I'm God. And everything is working out for you, Joy, is what I heard in that moment. So I'm saying it to you for the people that may feel like you're losing. It may look like to other people that you're folding and you're weak, but you're not. God is saying, I'm here for you. I am here for you, and I'm greater. I'm greater. Trust my timing.
I'm really, really hoping that you are enjoying these videos thus far. I'm hoping you're learning things. I'm hoping you're writing something down. Replay this video if you have to, because there's some affirmations in here. If you got to play it in your head every morning, pop it in the car. I mean, Bluetooth it in the car. I'm talking about CDs, like people still have CDs. Y'all still have CDs in your car? I feel like I took it out when I had my car. I don't know. Y'all still have CDs? Anywho. Plug in your phone with Bluetooth. Put in the aux cord if you have to. And play this in your car on your way to work if you have to, because you can make it and you can do it. You're gonna blossom to something beautiful. I made a kids clothing line. It's literally called Perennial Apparel, and that's because a perennial flower is flowers that are always existent year round. The annual flowers die, you have to replant them, right? Perennial flowers always exist. And this is the thing, when you plant one, they blossom and they spread. My daughter's name is Iris, and Iris actually is a perennial flower, right? So my whole thing by taking her name and making my kids' clothing line is for kids to take up their space in this world. The clothing line is coming very soon. We're tweaking some stuff. I'm trying to get some grants for this business as well, and I'm hoping that I can release it very, very soon because I'm very proud of this collection. I love what it stands for. It is a kids' clothing line, and it's about taking up your space in this earth. And it's just a reminder to kids that, you know, God loves them. You're important. Every child matters. You guys can change some of the mistakes that your own parents or people around you has made, and that's what that whole collection's all about. Not to babble on too much about that, but again, just trying to encourage some people on here because a lot of us in our 20s are struggling out here. And no, I'm not that old. I'm 28 years old, but I'm telling you, from age even 26 to 28 and looking back, I'm like, damn, I wish I never did that, or damn, I wish I did that differently. And you cannot live your life with regrets. You can't. I had a friend that taught me that. He's like, you know, you might regret some stuff, but you cannot live your life saying, I wish I had to change that. Because the problem is some things that you change would affect who you are now. And I mentioned this before, it could affect you mentally, your skills, and little stuff like that. Granted, there are some stuff that you should never have to go through. There are some things you never have to go through. I've unfortunately had gone through things that were very abusive in my life, and it affected the way I dealt with other people as I've gotten older. And it's saying that I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I don't think anybody wants to do with that. That's not something you have to learn anything from. That's how people take advantage of you and little things like that as you grow older. So for me, looking at my daughter, that's why I don't hit my daughter. That's why I don't try to, I don't even have to yell at her sometimes. If I have to drape her up, I have to drape her up. But I'm not gonna put hands on my kid so she's going to school with black eyes and stuff like that. I'm not gonna do that to her.
This message is for all the young women out there. I'm in my 40s, by the way. You don't have to wait until you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s to stop the abuse, to stop tolerating nonsense. You could do it now. You could save your precious time, your precious energy, and say it's enough. Enough is enough. And for some reason, God only knows. Human beings are the only ones that will repeat a mistake several times before they get it. Like they'll keep jumping in the same hole. Animals know. They see the hole, they know, oh, I'm not going that way. You don't have to do that. And I will say that the reason why it takes some of us, I speak from experience, this long, is because we literally learned how to tolerate pain for a long time in childhood. We had to in order to survive. And it's a double-edged sword. Because while it's good when you're pursuing worthwhile goals, it's not healthy when you're enduring unnecessary pain. So, I repeat, you could stop right now. You don't have to wait until you're a 40-something-year-old woman, 50, however old. You could just say, I'm not taking that path.
Okay.
And be happy.
If you're a young girl and you're dating an older guy, please be careful and do not have kids until you're like almost 30. Really weigh out your options and date people closer to your age because older people tend to be very manipulative and run game on you, and they play with your emotions and they drag you through the mud just because they know that you're more gullible and vulnerable. I've been with the same person since I was 16 years old. He is now 41 and I'm 26. We just had our 6th child back to back, okay? I'm one hell of a mom. I'm hands-on. I'm always home with them. I'm always the parent that's doing everything while he's out doing whatever. I just gave birth to our 6th child, and he literally did not come and support me through this traumatic experience. My father was here, and his reason was because I told him that he dogged me out during my entire pregnancy. He was not there. He was neglectful. No belly rubs, no bath, being ran, no consideration for my feelings, no empathy, no sympathy, no nothing. So he was like, finish it yourself. I'm like, you don't care about your son coming into the world and him being healthy and okay. And he's like, no, and you can name whatever you want. I don't care. And I'm 26. I dedicated my whole life to wanting to be a good mom, giving him all of these kids because he didn't have kids when, first got together. He was like 30 something, 32, 33, whatever. And I'm still gonna be one hell of a mom, but it fucking hurts. Like, it do. But life goes on, and this is not the end of the road for me. I'm hoping that sometime later down the line, because I don't want a relationship anytime soon, that I find a good person that can see the value in all of this, because people like to be very judgmental about situations like this. But if you're a young female, please date within your age and don't give up your life so easy. Although I don't regret it for the sake of my kids are amazing and very fucking smart, and very close. If I could go back, I would have chose somebody closer to my age that wouldn't have dragged me through the mud like he has. And there's just been a lot more to it. But this is just what I experienced today, and this was the nail in the coffin for me. Enough for me to be like, I'm never going to be with you again, and I'll take the 6 kids and I'll figure it the fuck out. I've been already doing it by myself anyways. So it is what it is. But that's my only message for today. And this is what I'm going to tell my daughters too. Don't date anybody older than you. He's 15 years older than me. 14 years older than me, whatever. Same shit. And I have been drugged through the mud and still believe in his words. The times that he's good, and the times that he's like, I'm going to try and I'm going to get my shit together and I'm sorry. And he never does. And he goes back to the same typical regular shit every time. So don't believe the bullshit. Don't believe the love bombing. Just do you. Okay.
Young women, be smart during your youth. Okay. Sorry. Because what happens during your youth will change everything that comes after it. Yes. You understand what I'm saying to you? Think about what you're doing while you're young. I know the energy is to be careless and carefree because you're wild and you're young, but what you do now does absolutely affect what happens to you later. Yes. Let me hip you to the science. The 20s are for working hard. The 30s are for working smart. The 40s are for working whenever you feel like it. Young women, be smart during your youth. Okay. Sorry. Because what happens during your youth will change everything that comes after it. Yes. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Today I overheard the most profound thing that I've ever heard. There was a woman, an older woman, and she was speaking to like a girl that looks like she was still in school, and she was telling her, she was basically giving her life advice, and I was thinking, okay, I need that. She was telling her, as soon as you feel like you're very comfortable and confident in what you're doing, you need to be doing something else, because we're not supposed to be comfortable and confident. Like, we're not gonna grow when we feel both of those things. She said you should feel confident, but not so comfortable that you can do whatever your chosen path is, that you can do it on instinct. Like, it shouldn't be autopilot, because we always need to be trying to grow. And I thought, wait. And to add on to that, she also said, as soon as you feel like you have your life together, that's when you also need to do something different, because you're not supposed to have your life together, because we're in this life to grow. Like, you're stagnant if you're not growing. And I thought, wait, so basically get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's not a bad way to feel. Like, we just need to sit with that feeling. That's what we should be doing.
I think one of the biggest things we have to understand is there's a difference in powerful women and strong women.
Okay.
Strong women are just surviving. I could have easily been just a strong woman. I was raised by a strong mom. It was just about survival. There was no conversation about thriving. And when you come over to this powerful place, it is we're taking what happened to us, and it's not a woe is me, because everybody doesn't have a trauma story. I have to understand that. And it's okay if you do or you don't.
Right.
But it's not okay for you to still be, at this day and age, as a grown woman, still talking about just surviving. At what point do you get to, I'm thriving? And the biggest thing is you could take what you've been through and help somebody else overcome. It no longer was about me, Myron.
People will cast you as whatever character suits the story that they're writing. Doesn't mean you have to play along. But do not try to control the narrative either, because it's not yours to write. You've tried to ground that person in the truth about your relationship and they don't want to see it. It is time to write yourself out of that script.
Your opinion is actually none of my business. So if you want to say things about me, if you want to judge me, at the end of the day, like, that's not on me, that's on you. And it's hard to be different. It's hard to, put yourself out there. Like, that's why not everyone does it. But I think there's a lot of power that comes from really owning who you are. And by doing that, you get these little, bits of success that sort of prove to you, you're right, you're doing the right thing, follow your dream.
A few years ago, I got asked to give a speech at Bill Gates' summit. And the slot that they had given me was between Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And it was the only speech that anyone was giving. It was a summit of Fortune 100 CEOs. So you can imagine who was in the room. And I remember them saying, this is a really hard speaking slot, Rashma, because most people are really intimidated because Bill and Warren are sitting in the front row and it can be a little scary. And I remember as I was sitting there in the backstage, they had given me 10 minutes to speak. And I remember thinking, man, I wish they gave me 12 because I really had some more stuff to say. And then I remember thinking, how did I become this woman when I used to be that girl? And I remember thinking, yeah, it's because I've been in every single powerful room. I've met every single CEO, every president, every prime minister. And when I meet them, I'm like, you're running what? Me and my girls, we can run circles around you. And I realized that it's never been about whether we're qualified, whether we're prepared, whether we're ready. That we've really never really dissected all of the undeserved, unearned privilege that so many people have. And that we have literally bought and been fed basically this propaganda that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we don't belong. And the real resistance in this moment is saying no more. I'm not reading those books. I'm not taking those courses. I'm not taking that class. I'm not buying into that bullshit. I'm here and I can lead too.
To the girl trying to do big things, I hope this video found you when you needed it the most. Let this be your reminder that you should never quit on a bad day. If you're thinking of giving up, if you're thinking of going in a new direction, do it on a day where it's a good day. Don't let all of your work go and all of your dreams go just because you're having a bad day. Shut it down for the day. Go to bed tonight. Think of all the things that you're grateful for. And wake up tomorrow and start fresh. And if it's a good day and you still want to let it go, then okay. But don't let it go just because you had one bad moment, one bad day, one bad week, one bad month. It's hard, but it's so freaking worth it. You got this.
You're like the gift I didn't know I needed. I didn't know I needed you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you were really here to save me. As much as I'm your mother and...
Are you gonna make me cry?
As much as I'm your mother and I'm your rock and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you really are my everything.
Don't cry. You can't cry. I know. You're gonna make me cry then.
And all the stuff that I've been through, and you was almost my center, like the person I always came back to, and you was like the person that I knew I was doing everything for.
If there is one piece of advice I could give to my younger self, it would be to always trust and believe your intuition. Any tiny thought that you have that you think might be stupid, but it makes you feel off, that is your body going into fight or flight mode for a fucking reason. For those of you that are yet to experience this, it is almost like you have been here before and your body knows what is about to happen. Kind of like deja vu, like it's already played out before. One time when I was in secondary school, I left my house to walk to school as I normally would, but this time I had a really uneasy feeling. It sounds stupid, but in a movie, you know when it rains and it's gloomy and you can tell that something bad is gonna happen. I felt the exact same way. I then saw a dog running without its lead, with no sign of an owner, and that's when I started to feel sick. The next thing I know, there's a little roundabout in the village that I live in, and a car is going round the same roundabout multiple times before speeding off in the direction that I'm heading. At this point, my anxiety is so high and I feel so uneasy, but I have no idea what for. I just trust that I know that something is not right. I get to the bottom of the school hill, and that same car I saw earlier that I got a bad feeling about happened to be a crazy ex-boyfriend of a girl at school, and with a knife in hand right in front of me, tried to get revenge on his ex-girlfriend. Thankfully, she got airlifted to hospital and she was fine. Another time when I lived in America, I was walking to work one day. Middle of the day, broad daylight. Again, I got that same feeling as when I was in secondary school. For whatever reason, this one pickup van that was parked on the side of the road outside of a high school gave me a real bad vibe, to the point that I noted down his number plate and texted it to my mum and was just like, for some reason, I feel like you're gonna need this. This man proceeded to watch me walk down the road and kept moving his car to park further down the road to continue to watch me more. Right when I get to the bus stop and I convinced myself I was overthinking, he comes round and parks directly opposite me and starts to take photos of me on his phone. My mum immediately calls the police and Amber Alert gets sent out. Turns out he was a paedophile. So please, whenever you feel that feeling, however stupid you think it might be, trust it and do whatever you need to do in that moment to get yourself to safety.
What advice would you give to a younger self?
Everything works out. Stay in the moment. Don't get ahead of yourself. My younger self is definitely obsessed with answers and wanting to know the future. Where am I going to be? What am I going to do? Who am I going to be with? At the expense of the now. I probably missed out on a lot of things because of the fact that I was too much thinking about the future and not looking at what was on the ground in front of me.
How to be able to stay in the moment?
Honestly, it took me several years. I think sometimes it takes a dark night of the soul and maybe a crisis to force you to concentrate on where you are at the moment. It's about awareness. Every day we're receiving a lot of signals and information. And of course we're in the age of social media, and even now we're going into the age where AI is a big deal. And I think don't hold it all. Let things pass through you. It's not necessarily about resistance, but it's about flow.
Hey, you. Listen up. If you go to the gym for the sole purpose of looking a certain way or obtaining a very specific physique, your confidence will always be dictated by the way you look. If you go to the gym with the goal of building discipline, becoming stronger, taking on new endeavors, and achieving new things, the kind of confidence that you gain from that cannot be wavered by the way you look or any fluctuations in your physical appearance. And I will preface, it is completely normal to have aesthetic-driven goals. We all have them. But I think it's important that the main goal driving you to get to the gym in the first place is not to look a certain way. Learn to praise your body for what it can do rather than what it looks like. Learn to build intrinsic confidence in what your body is capable of doing, how strong you are, how disciplined you've become, and how much self-efficacy you have since going to the gym. Instead of going to the gym solely to build extrinsic confidence in the way you look and the way your body looks on a given day. Because if that is the main goal driving you to get to the gym, you will never be satisfied. And if I could help out one young girl trying to get to the gym and save them from the turmoil I put myself through, this would be the kind of advice I'd want.
I'm 50, and I would tell my 20-year-old self, don't waste so much time in indecision. If you have thought about doing something 100 times, just give it a go.
4 things I would tell my younger, anxious self now that I'm a therapist. Number 1, stop being so ashamed and hard on yourself for struggling with anxiety. You are worthy and you are enough. It's part of who you are, but it doesn't define all of who you are. Number 2, a little failure is not the end of the world. You need to stop treating it that way. If anything, it's going to help you grow and it's going to make you stronger. Number 3, stop trying to fit in with people who you know treat you badly. You don't have to please and become best friends with everybody because you're going to feel worse when it doesn't happen. Number 4, you need to make decisions based on what you want. You need to stop worrying about disappointing everybody else. It is easier to disappoint someone else for an hour or a day than to disappoint yourself for years. Make yourself a priority.
What would you tell a 20-year-old who wants to become a millionaire? They ask you, Barbara, what's the fastest way to become a millionaire?
I'd say take the money out of the equation and focus on one thing only. Try to find something you do very, very well. And then practice the hell out of it until you become very, very, very good at it. And then you don't have competition. You're going to be the top of your heap, whatever that heap is. And money automatically comes with being the top.
Men talk about money all the time, but for women, it's sort of taboo. And for me, I'm like, no, I bought this. I have my Rolex and my Cartier. I love stuff. Took my kids first class to Europe, 5-star hotels. I got drivers. I lived it up because I can.
Do you talk to them about why they're experiencing it?
100%. I've broken that generational thing. Scarcity ended with me. This summertime, before we went to Europe, my daughter went and got a job on her own. And she's like, Mom, I want to work and make my own money. So people are like, aren't you going to spoil your kids because they always fly first class and da-da? I'm like, no, I show them there's no limits in life. I've neutralized money with them. They know that it's there. They just have to do whatever it takes to go out there and get it for themselves.
For someone listening who maybe is not where they want to be financially, what would you give them, like a play-by-play of where to begin?
Well, first, how much do you want to make? What kind of life do you want? And I always say, go energetic shopping. Where do you want the money to go? Because most people just want money. Money doesn't want to just come to you. It needs somewhere to flow to. It's a frequency. Put the highest desires out there. Go as big as you can. I make a little collage on my phone. Put something on there that you want to create in this world, like a vision board. So every time you pick up your phone, you're programming your subconscious. This is what the life I have. And then I would go out taking steps that will create that for you. And then find out what are your biggest money beliefs. Write them all down. Write down everything you believe about money. Then write down every money story you've ever had and find out, is there truth in those money stories? Are they really that true? Then find out where your core wounds are, because this is really, really important to find out. On that list of the things that you desire, the energetic shopping, I would, anything under $100, and if you have the money, don't go out and just buy things, but start buying certain things and feel what it feels like to buy something, not just because you need it, but because you desire it. Show the universe and yourself, or whoever you identify with, you know what, I do get to have what I want, and it shifts you.
3 things I wish I knew before I was 28. Don't you go broke trying to look like everybody that's broke. Yeah, they might have the latest fashion on, but their latest bill ain't paid. Number 2, having your bills paid is underrated. As an adult, I will sleep in my bed all day as long as my bills are paid. Food in the fridge, oh yeah, I'm in the house. And number 3, nobody's actually impressed by the shit that you're doing to impress everybody. Relax, take it easy. That you're stressing over the wrong thing, sis.
If you were somebody like me that constantly spends all of their money and makes excuses for themselves and leans into manifestation and delusion and is like, money comes and goes easily and frequently, so they just spend money steady and they don't even think about where it's going or pay attention to their bank account or cringe when you look at their bank account, this is for you. Right away, you're going to go get these 2 books. You're going to go get Atomic Habits by James Clear, and you're going to go get The Psychology of Money. I forgot the name of the author, but you need these 2 books immediately because you need to start understanding that there is so much emotion behind why you buy what you buy and how you shop. And I honestly got a financial advisor this year who works with money trauma, and she really taught me that most of my spending habits and my reason for retail therapy is because I'm seeking validation from a product or something that's external of me. And it really showed me how much my emotions really lead my spending, which is also a problem because that means that I am a reactive person. And being reactive is a sign of trauma, right? So if I want to be a less reactive person, I want to be disciplined, I want to be successful, then I really got to work on those things. So The Psychology of Money is a really good thing. And it also, with the girls who like to manifest and we're delusional, we make our vision boards. I saw this thing in The Psychology of Money that talks about how, do you want to be a millionaire or do you want to spend like a millionaire? Because they're 2 different things. So if your entire vision board is nice cars, luxury homes, all these things, and you can't imagine yourself actually being able to get them, you just want them to somehow fall in your lap, it's because you more than likely want to spend like one, you don't actually want to be one. Because if you want to be a millionaire, you're going to start being disciplined, you're going to check your bank account, you're going to make sure that you're actually saving, you're going to stop buying ridiculously expensive items that you don't need, you're going to stop buying things from TikTok Shop, you're going to stop looking online and just buying random nonsense or listening to what every influencer tells you to buy immediately. So one of the things that's also helped me be more successful and be a more disciplined person, which can lead me to being a millionaire in the future, because you don't become a millionaire overnight. You become one by building a millionaire. And how you build a millionaire is in the little steps that you're taking today while you only have $5 in your bank account. And those steps can start with being disciplined. So I started with using the app called Rocket Money. It's really helping me show like what I'm spending, and I was like, holy shit, I spend so much money on like random Ubers or random food or things just because I'm too lazy and I make an excuse. So now when I catch myself on that app by spending too much, I'm also being more mindful behind my payments that I make. So if I go to buy something, like if I'm out to eat or like I'm just walking about and I get the urge to go get something that I don't necessarily need, I'm like, what would a disciplined person do? How would a millionaire show up to this? They wouldn't buy this nonsense. I can tell you that, that's for sure. So that's one of the books. Atomic Habits is the next one. And honestly, it teaches you how to habit stack. It teaches you how to control your behavior, but not in a way that's restricted and limiting. It's more so like teaching you how, like, habits actually give you more freedom because you're controlling the ones that you need to do and the things that you have to do, and then it gives you more room for spontaneity. But like, at least you're getting the things done that you wanted, so there's less shame, and with less shame comes less random emotional spending as well. So I think those two kind of link together, but those are two things that I'm doing, or a couple things that I'm doing in this new year while I'm being loud budgeting. Loud budgeting is a new thing that we all need to fall into because it is the way to change the game, and it is the way to be responsible. So hope this helps, and I know that it will.
Here are 5 rich girl money habits that I wish I knew sooner, and I promise if you start doing these now, it's going to make such a big difference. Number 1 is plan one day a month that is your financial management day. I make sure that I monitor everything coming in, everything going out. I reconcile everything in QuickBooks so I can make sure I am up to date on that. And of course, I also revisit my financial goals. Number 2 is pay for as many things as possible on a credit card. Now, this does not mean that we're spending money that we do not have, but we are using the credit card to make those purchases and then pay it off the next day. That's saving thresholds, and work to hit those before you diversify and start doing a million different things. Next one and best one, it is a little bit annoying, but this is honestly one of the biggest things that has helped me so much over the years. I cancel all of my cards every 6 months. There you have it. There are 5 more money habits and money hacks, rich girl things that I wish I knew sooner. And I promise you, if you start following those, it will make a big difference. Let me know if you have any questions.
One of the hardest lessons that I've had to learn throughout my self-love journey is not allowing people back into my life from my past that have harmed me, misused me, mistreated me, whatever it may be. I feel like it's okay to forgive people, but there's a level of boundaries, and when people do you dirty a little one too many times, access is revoked, period. You have no more access. You are not welcomed into my life. Because when I gave you access, you misused, you mistreated, you abused me. Now access is revoked. Deal with it. Do not allow people to take away from your energy. Do not allow people to disrespect you. Have respect for yourself. Love yourself enough to not go back to something that was bad for you or did more harm to you than good. And it's easier said than done, and it's a learning process, and it's a hard lesson for me. It's something I still deal with. So yeah, know that you are loved, that you are worthy, that there are people out there that are good for you. Do not allow bad relationships in your life to make you feel like you're not deserving of healthy love. You're not deserving of healthy friendships. You're not deserving of something genuine to happen in your life. You will be okay. I promise you, you will be okay.
I'm hoping that these are encouraging for you guys. I'm hoping that you're enjoying them alongside with me. Definitely something else I would have told my younger self is do not rush to grow up. I remember when I was about to turn 18 years old, I made a post on Instagram. Maybe we're like finally 18, good at 18, all type of stuff. My grandma's so cute. She made me 18 cupcakes. I spent it with my mom's mom and my aunts and my cousins and stuff for my 18th birthday. And I'm like, yes, I'm 18. Y'all, 18 don't mean nothing. What does 18 mean? You're not grown. You don't know how to pay no bills. What are you doing at 18? I had a job at 18, but and a license. What else? You don't have nothing else. You don't know nothing. And this is just me trying to encourage someone that's a little bit younger. You're not grown. Trust me. You don't really know much, honestly, until 24. I'm going to tell you from now. I know we see a lot of people talking about, yeah, in my early 20s, I'm a millionaire, and I have this, and I bought my dream car at 17, and we're seeing all of that stuff, but that's not for the common everyday person. That's not reality for a lot of people. That's not even within reach for a lot of people. I'm not saying you cannot get there. Of course you can. Please be ambitious. One quality that I have that I love about myself is how ambitious and outgoing I am. When people look at me crazy or people look at me sideways, I love that I can sit there and laugh at them because I'm going to get that. I'm gonna get there eventually. And I believe that you need to have those qualities and those traits for yourself, but do not rush to grow up. Obviously, you're not gonna stay young forever. I don't know what's going on with celebrities wanting to make themselves look like they're 16 all over again and you're 50. Like, that is a whole other epidemic. We're gonna talk about that in another video. But anyways, for my young girls that are out there that are trying to be 18 and rush up to be 30, you don't need to rush to be 30 years old. And this is juice, by the way. I'm not drinking in the middle of the morning time. That would be crazy. This is juice. The cup's just pretty. Anyway, don't rush to be grown, because I'm 28 now. So looking back over a decade when I was 18 years old, I wish I spent more time being a young woman and just enjoying what it is that young women do, learning about what I like and what I don't like, understanding my traits, my qualities, strengthening my strengths, bettering my skills, reading my word more, and understanding what it is God wants me to do. Stop running after stupid boys and wasting my damn time, because a good man will find you when the timing is right. I wish that I learned how to invest money when I was at that age and do it a lot better. Obviously, we heard about cryptocurrency and stuff when we were younger. And learning about RSP accounts and all these other investment accounts that we could have had at those ages, and I just didn't care for it. I didn't pay attention to it. I was very much living my moment. And I'm not saying don't live in the moment, because you got to enjoy your youth, but also make sure you prepare for tomorrow. If you talk talk to a lot of women in my age group, I'm a millennial, 96, we are the last year on there. But anyway, if you talk to a lot of people in like my age group and stuff like that, and our financial situations and how we wish we would have saved money differently, millennials were born in the best time to be a kid and damn near the worst time to be an adult, because it's like, yo, the dating right now is ghetto. You don't even know if your man likes you or likes men. You don't even know what's going on with that. They're wasting your time for 10 years to come. You want to buy a house now, but who on earth has $200,000 just sitting there to go put on a down payment on a 2-bedroom townhouse? Because yes, that's the housing market in Canada, in case you did not know. I live in Canada. I can talk about Canada. At one point I wanted to move to Texas. I'm like, oh, I can afford those houses. That house looks great. But then I'm like, what the hell is this open carry business? I cannot be dealing with that. I'm too used to living in peace for the most part. I cannot be afraid that someone's just going to kick in my door, or I'm going to go to the grocery store and people are going to pull out guns in the grocery store. I don't got time for that. So in terms of buying property and being able to invest in little things like that, make sure you guys are thinking about those little things, because yes, you are young, enjoy your youth, but make sure you're also prepared mentally for, okay, when I'm 30, am I going to have this? At 18 years old, you should not be worried about having a BBL. At 18 years old, you got to worry about lip fillers. At 18, what do you need Botox for? I'm telling you, TikTok has turned a lot of you guys' brains into mud. A lot of this social media stuff and overconsumption has turned everybody into, I don't know, like zombies. Like, this is not real life, and you're currently living in real life. And honestly, even baddies is to blame as well. A lot of us are out here thinking, yeah, I can fight and I can do this. And that's not what women do. Real women conversate and learn how to diffuse situation by using their words. Real women can sit down at a dinner table and not call you out of your name to get their point across. Real women can sit there and articulate yourself in a professional manner when they're frustrated about something. We don't need to punch each other in the mouth every time. We're like, no, I like what you just said. Granted, if you talk about somebody's children or dead parents, those are some off-limits subjects, and I cannot defend you if you do those things. I'm just gonna put that out there. If somebody hit you for that, that's a different conversation. But let's get back to the topic. It's a very serious topic. Enjoy your youth while you can, and do not rush to grow older, because there's no need for you to rush. Remember, I call everybody OTG on here, which stands for On Time Gang. You're on time for whatever it is that you're supposed to be on time for in your life currently. There's a plan for wherever it is that you're supposed to go. Grab onto it and walk with it. Take your time. You don't gotta rush at this. It's okay to be young and enjoy being young. If I could give myself at 18 years old some advice right now, enjoy being 18, honey, because as you get older, it's gonna get a lot more harder, and you're gonna figure it out. Yes, you are, but damn, you're gonna grow up and say, where did that time go? You're gonna grow up and you're gonna say, man, I wish that I did this a little bit differently in terms of how I felt and how I love myself and things like that. Do not rush growing up, honeys.
If I could go back and talk to my younger self and to every young woman out there, I'd say this: love yourself deeply and never doubt your self-worth. Self-love isn't selfish. It's a necessity. It's the foundation. And when you know your value, it's so much easier to set boundaries and to protect your peace. You don't have to say yes to everyone or everything. I'd also say to remember to trust in God, because even when things don't make sense to us, He has a plan. Lean on His guidance when life gets heavy, and know that you are never walking alone. Take it one step at a time, setting boundaries that truly reflect who you are and what you value. You are worthy of respect, love, and all of the beautiful things that this life has to offer.
Thank you once again for tuning into today's video. I did hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to like. It's free. It's free to click the little like button, because if you liked it, if you watched at least 5 minutes of it, that means you like it, because people have bad attention spans in this day and age. So if you did like it, please don't forget to subscribe to see some more. Leave a comment down below for somebody else that might watch, that might need some encouragement in case I missed anything or didn't insert a clip that you're like, you know what, this came to my spirit, let me put it on here. Go ahead and comment down below if you have to, and please don't forget to subscribe for some more. I will see you all again in another video for some more. Please have a wonderful and happy Tuesday. Bye.